Hello and welcome, everyone. This is episode 58. This is my level 35 Dagger Wielder. Um, I did a rebuild on her after went around and got all of the elixir wells um, into new areas, and I ended up getting 149 total skill points. I think I still have maybe one or two elixir wells left that I haven't hit, but you know, it'll be hard to use those points unless if it gives me like three of them at a time or something. Anyhow, so this is my level 35. My settings are on default with the game. So I'm using the Wolf Fang hood because of the plus 11% the backstab, plus 81% the merciless strike, and plus 2 to frost resistance, and I just think the helmet looks cool. Chest piece, I am wearing the Mountain Shadow chest. Gives you 150 physical resistance, 75 to magic resistance, plus 300 to health. That's a big bonus. Plus 4 to frost resistance, and plus 30 to stamina. My gloves are the Frostbite Slasher gloves. They give you a plus 23% to dagger damage, plus 3% to backstab damage, and plus 1 to frost resistance. And you can see the physical resistance is 30, magical resistance is 30. So the Frostbite Slasher trousers. Okay, 67 to physical resistance, 67 to magical resistance. The benefit of these trousers is for sneaking purposes. So your sneak speed is increased by 30%. So, if you're crouched down and you're trying to get behind somebody so you can backstab them and do max damage, you don't want your character crawling across the floor like a turtle. So that's the reason for these trousers. But plus 22 to mana and plus 2 to frost resistance. Alright, so the shadow or the mountain shadow boots. 37 to physical resistance, 18 to magical resistance, 400 health regeneration delay, plus 5 to health regeneration, and plus 2 to frost resistance. Okay, so right now my health is 1,385, mana is 308, stamina is 548. My melee damage is 95%, ranged is 55%, and magic is 45%. I can stay in the shroud for 19 minutes. Constitution is 19, spirits 9, endurance is 19, strength is 17, dexterity is 11, intelligence is 9. Okay, miscellaneous, we have plus 0 to healing, revive duration is 6 seconds, revive healing is 10%, frost buildup 0%, frost resistance is 22, frost resistance duration means 35 minutes in the alpine areas of the summit without freezing to death. Regeneration, health regeneration is 15. Health regeneration delay is 0.10 seconds. Mana regeneration is 1. Mana regeneration delay is 0.50 seconds. Stamina regeneration is 56. And stamina regeneration delay is 0.50. Okay, so my damage, this is the important screen. My critical damage is 155. My critical chance is 10%. My melee damage is 10%. Magical and ranged are 0. Sneak attack bonus or sneak attack damage is 1000%. Merciless attack damage is 681%. Backstab damage is 80%. Skill shot damage is 50%. And then for types of foes, I get a bonus to ranged and flying. Okay, weapons. Right now I have my daggers in my hands, so I get plus 38. And then I have a bow, and I get a plus 10 for that. So with a dagger wielder, you usually use the ethereal type of shields because you have a weapon in each hand and you can't carry a shield plus the daggers at the same time. Anyways, block damage is 9, it's rather low. Parry power is 75. Physical resistance total is 140 or 340. Total magical resistance is 227, and poison susceptibility is down to 70%. Okay, my skills. So starting in the inner circle, all right, I went with sneak attack. Okay, deals massive 10 times the damage to unaware enemies. So if they see you, it's not going to work. Backstab damage, increase the damage you deal from behind by 25%. And then opportunity increases the multiplier of the merciless attack and the sneak attack by 100%. Well rested, I take that because I like to be able to snoop around when I'm out in the shroud. Giant Slayer. Okay. In this case, if you went up against a dragon, it would pull you straight to him. So you better hope that he's on the ground. Grounding hook. It's really nice for flying enemies, especially those little blue and orange birds that love to attack you. Okay, so the trickster tree, I just put 1 point in. Wizard, 1 point. The healer tree, just the 1 point into intelligence. The battle mage, 1 point here, and then I went to arcane deflection because on a successful parry, you gain 20 mana back. And then I jumped from here to evasion attack. Okay. Now, if I get points from hopefully a couple elixir wells that I'm thinking that I haven't done yet, and I should get lucky enough to get 4 points, I will take blink. Battle heal. When dealing critical damage with a melee weapon, you will heal 5% of your maximum life. Alright. Heavy plates, shiny plates, Constitution, and Constitution. On the warrior tree, this one I hit pretty heavily. So Constitution, Warrior's Path, melee weapon, all damage is increased by 10%. I grabbed the Feast. Meat now increases health by an additional 15%. So if you have the mountain stew, you know it's really going to bump up your health. Strength, and then I went down both sides. Thrusting, 10% additional. Piercing, 20% additional. The center is any type of blunt damage, additional 10%. I typically don't have a blunt weapon with me, but I do have a wand that does the shroud damage, which is a blunt damage. Slasher, all melee cutting damage is increased by an additional 10%. Butcher, all melee cutting damage is increased by an additional 20%. You see where I'm going with this. This is a good tree. Veteran, when attacking with a melee weapon, your critical hit chance is increased by 10%. Strength, Constitution, Swift Blades. Okay. In Swift Blades, I know it says one-handed swords and axes. The daggers fall into that. And in Constitution, a point. The Barbarian tree, the only thing I did is I put 1 point from the Strength. And then the Athlete tree, 1 point into Strength, Jump Attack, Double Jump. You could do Jump Attack 2 if you had enough points. I did not because I had other places I wanted to put them. Strength here. So on the Athlete tree, this is going to increase my melee damage by 5% per attribute point. Finesse, one-handed melee weapons and daggers have a 20% chance not to lose durability. I chose this side of it over going Vigorous Deflection. You gain 30 stamina when you parry an enemy's attack. So you could go either way on that. The reason why I went this far up the tree is because I wanted the Blood Warrior. Spawn a health orb after defeating an enemy with a sneak attack or merciless attack. Gathering the orb replenishes 10% of your health. And then Strength. I thought I had that one unlocked. Apparently I don't have that one unlocked. I thought I unlocked all 4 of them. Constitution and Constitution. And then Backstab Mastery on the Survivor tree. So I went here instead of coming up this way. Okay. So if I went up this way, then I'd have to take Swift Shot, which I don't normally use a bow with this character. And then this side here is like good metabolism. It's a good one to have. Okay, because health, mana, and stamina orbs restore 30% instead of 10%. Wanderlust, stamina consumption for sprinting on dirt roads is reduced from 90% to 80%, and stamina consumption for sprinting on stone roads is reduced from 75 to 50. And then we have Runner, which increases your run speed and decreases your consumption of stamina. Then we have Inner Fires, which adds to the time that I can stay in the shroud by 2 minutes. Relentless Flame increases your maximum shroud time by 5 minutes. Okay, so then I went up the Beastmaster tree, Endurance, Snake Eater, which reduces your poison damage received by 20%. Okay, you get another additional 10% poison resistance and 25% chance to avoid being poisoned. And then Endurance, Dagger Mastery, gives you 15% to increase damage dealt with daggers. Endurance point. Poison Blades Increases the chance to poison enemies to 25% when using daggers with the Poison Blade perk. And I do have a set of those. And Poison Mastery. Increases the damage dealt with the Poison Blades daggers perk by 100%. Okay, then I went up the Ranger tree a little ways. Dexterity, Marksman, because occasionally you do have to use your bow, so that gives me an extra 10%. Silent Stride, that way I can sneak up even more effectively. And on this one you could go either way depending on what you wanted to do. I did not take the Sharpshooter because of the fact that I'm relying on my daggers. So Counter Battery, plus 15% damage to ranged enemies. And then once again, Eagle Bane, because it increases damage against flying enemies by 30%. This is the important reason for coming up the Ranger tree, is the Ranger node, plus 2 to Endurance, plus 2 to Dex, plus 5 to Stamina recharge, plus 5 to critical chance, and plus 5 to critical damage. And then to get to it, I took the Skill Shot. All damage dealt to an enemy's head is increased by 20%. I took this because of the dragon. His head is the most vulnerable spot on his body. So if you can hit him either with your weapons or with your bow in the head, you're going to do more damage to him overall. The Assassin Tree, touched on a little bit earlier. I took it for the Dex, the Airborne, because gliders consume 30% less stamina. 1 more point to Endurance. And then Updraft. I like Updraft because a lot of times you're flying to get to some place and maybe you think that it's down lower because the marker says to go, it's below you, and then you start to go down, but then all of a sudden realize that it's 150 feet above you. So if by hitting Updraft, then you can push your glider back up higher into the air, giving you a better chance to find your target. Trickster, I did not use. Counter Strike is a good one to have. It only costs 2 points, so if I only get 2 points by taking out the last 1 or 2 wells that's on my map, then I will probably go with Counter Strike. So that is it for my build, and I hope, I came up to the tavern to get some breakfast this morning. Cheers is the place to be. I still got to flesh out a few people because, they're just wooden heads without helmets. So anyways, that's the end of my video. I hope it was helpful and beneficial, and if you decide to build yours like mine, then you have a template for it. Give it a try. Worst that you do is you just go back to your flame altar and tell it to reset your skill points. You can fine tweak it. If you find something that works better than what I have, just drop me a line in the comment section. Please remember to hit the like button and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.